Hey everybody, this is Arnie again. Thanks for tuning in to Butte Forge. Uh, Today, what I've got for you is a sample for fillet welding. I noticed that we've got a bunch of new subscribers who like to check out other welders on the channel, so I think it's time to start teaching some welding. I've got a lot of experience teaching welding, and what I've done is I've created a little fillet weld test sample for you guys to give you an example of how you properly weld fillet welds and whatnot, uh, and talk about a couple of the important things about welding. With fillet welds, whether this is an F1 where it's in a flat V position, whether it's an F2 where it was welded as you see it, just like this, okay? Um, uh, the important thing is to focus on your leg length. And what leg length means to a welding test, or, basically any welding really, whether it's a test or not, is what you're paying attention to is that the length from this surface to the second bead is equal from the length of this surface to the third bead. As long as those two lengths are the same, that is what we call equal leg length. And when we do these welding tests, that's exactly what I'm looking for from my students. I want to make sure that the toe of this weld does not exceed, in this case, a half of an inch from this surface. And I don't want the toe of this weld to exceed this surface a half of an inch. Okay. And equal leg length is relative to whatever you're welding. Okay. So if you're welding 3/8 of an inch right here, then that means it can't exceed 3/8. Okay. And that's the rule of thumb. When you're welding two different thicknesses of metal, the leg length should not exceed the thickness of the smaller plate, because truthfully, the entire structure is not going to be any stronger than the thinner material. It's kind of like you got your 1/4 inch link in the middle of a 1/2 inch link chain, right? So your chain's only 1/4 inch, right? So same thing. So your leg length is never greater than the thickness of the plate. And when they are two different thicknesses, it's never greater than the thinner of the two. Pretty simple to remember, okay? All right. Next on here is I drew the passes in the order that they go. And obviously you do what's called your root pass first. Then what you're going to do is your second pass, and then your third pass, okay? This is going to work for material up to 1/2 inch. Once you start welding material that's over 1/2 of an inch, what we're going to be looking for then is pass number 4, pass number 5, and pass number 6, because it'll take that many to get out to, say, 3/4 of an inch, okay, if you're welding 3/4. If you're welding 1-inch material, well, then I'm looking for passes after that, maybe, depending on the size of the welding rod you used. Okay, so next what I want to show you real quick is the travel angles of what I used when we did this. And I know I got the sun coming in at a funky angle, so we're going to try to get this in a better position so you can see. There we go. How about that? That's a little better, more in the shade. Okay. So the first one, a lot of times what they say is you want to come in at a 45-degree angle. I like to drop that down to say about 30. And then of course you have your drag angle that they say is 70 degrees roughly. That's 20 degrees, okay, from 90, okay. 15 to 20 is acceptable. I like that. But I find that when you hold the rod up at a 45-degree angle and try to do that root pass like that, you get a lot of undercut. My students always got undercut. So I would just encourage them to drop that angle back down, all right? On the second pass, you're kind of flat welding if you think about it. And so what this angle is it's just like, when you're welding flat, and you're going to You're going to aim the rod a little bit back at the root weld, okay? And you're going to have a drag angle of about 70 degrees, okay? For overlap, what you're looking for on overlap is roughly about a third. You want the toe of bead number 2 to overlap your root bead about a third. And what I always tell my students is try not to let it overlap more than, definitely not more than half, okay? So a third to within a half, that's what I would always look for. And I'm looking for clean fusion between the two beads, okay? All right. Pass number 3, it's very similar to your root again, okay? The main defect you're looking to fight is your undercut across the top. So what we do is, again, treat it like a root pass. That's what I tell my students. Treat it like your root, okay? Drop that angle from 45 down to about 30. Keep that 70 degree travel angle as you drag the welding rod back, okay? So these are the steps. This is how you do this, okay? Another thing to follow through with the last video, I didn't wear any glasses when I did this so that we could have something to talk about. Defects, right? So the trick is you got to talk about your defects, all right? And this is what makes us better welders, okay? So this is a great chance to show you. This is the real world. This is my welding. I'm not lying here. So let's look at what happened here, okay? Because this is a moment in time is what this is. You can tell I started off, I'm cruising along, and then look at this one right here. You see this line right here? It's a little bit thicker right here, and the weld starts to stand up. So what that tells me is I slowed down, okay? And then I picked it back up. All right, right here, see all this? This is where I let my right hand drop a little bit, okay? And I lost my line from the top here, and I dropped it down a little bit, okay? So I'm starting to veer off. Well, I made the correction in real time as quick as I could see it, and I pulled it back up and I changed my angle. And as you can see, right here is where I fixed it, okay? Now I'm cruising along pretty good. And right here, I slowed up again because you could see the weld got big. And then I went again, fusion, I let it drop again. I basically repeated everything I did right back here. I did it twice in a row. It almost looks identical. And then there's my stop with my crater, okay? So those right there, I could tell what I did. I stopped, I picked up, I let my hand drag, all of those things, okay? So I know exactly what I did. When I fire up the arc again, I can pay attention to that and I can focus. I could say, okay, keep my travel speed consistent. I could say, pay attention to that top line and make sure it stays, right there where I want it to be. So this is how you become a better welder, is you look very, very closely at your defects and you say, what did I do? What made me do that? What makes that happen? Okay. So that's the trick. That's the key. I'm going to have plenty more welding videos for everybody. If anybody has any questions on this one, please let me know. I'll answer those questions as quickly as I possibly can. If anybody wants any specific welding type of video on different processes and whatnot, give me a heads up in the comments and we'll see what we can do on that one. Generally, I teach beginning welding, and I taught the certification course because of my track record. They wanted me to teach it. Usually when you don't drop a student, they say, you're our guy. And that's kind of my track record is I never dropped a single student for certification. Anybody who took my cert class, they got their cert. So I'm pretty proud of that. So I would like the opportunity to teach you what I know and help you guys get the welding skills. I don't have any intention on doing any videos where you're just looking at a big, bright, fuzzy puddle in the dark, because I don't think that's going to benefit anybody. That's more for individual one-on-one time in a booth. And so I don't really want to do that, but what I do intend to do is just teach you guys all the things that you need to do to practice in the booth, okay, or practice in your own shop for, you know, either just to weld on your own stuff better, or if you really do want to get certified, you know, I honestly can help you guys get certified. So thanks for tuning in. And I really appreciate your time today. And thanks for all the comments. And thank you all to all the new subscribers today. Thanks a lot, man. You guys are great. Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks from the Forge here, and we'll see you next time. And enjoy the weekend. Happy welding. Arc and spark, guys. Bye now.